Right, good evening, guys, and welcome to Series 1, Episode 7 of the TubeMix review show with me, TubeMix. And sorry it's been quite a long time. Obviously, been busy with the football and just sort of forgot. But anyway, I'm back, and I'm joined by JLI Wheels for tonight's episode. Good evening.
Hello, how are we?
Good. I'm very good. How are you?
Fantastic. Yeah, good, thank you. Good. Very good.
So today we are reviewing, I think, and I'm sure you agree, Job, that it's a modern animated classic.
Yeah, I would say so.
It's a film that really, it made history in so many aspects. It has a brilliant cast. There's loads of lines you can quote from it, and it really put Pixar Animation Studios on the map. And that is, of course, the 1995 film Toy Story, and one of my favourite animated films. I've always loved Pixar, maybe more than Disney, but of course I have, as I've got older, I've had a respect for the golden age of the 40s and 50s. Well, the films done in Walt's era. But yeah, Toy Story for me, it's a brilliant film, especially because the stuff for adults, but there's also stuff for children. I mean, it's quite good how Pixar managed to actually get that really good balance of not get stuff for adults but also appeal to children. I think that's really a master of what the guys at Pixar do. Would you agree with that, George?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yep. I'm just looking here, and this will actually make some of you laugh, because even though they left, the screenplay is by Pixar's Andrew Stanton, but he's joined by, on the credits, Joss Whedon, who I'm sure you know is creator of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But he actually...
series.
What do you say?
I said that's a fantastic series. I like Buffy.
Oh, right. Yeah, I've never really gotten into it, so it's quite funny to see Joss Whedon on the credits, but he had to be credited because of the contract, and he left basically, so that's why he's there. And then Joel Cohen and Alec Skollo, who went on to write the screenplay for the Garfield movies starring Bill Murray. So not bad. And of course the story, not the screenplay, but the story is by the late great Joe Ranft, Andrew Stanton, Pete Docter, and also director John Lasseter. But the less said about him, the better.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. He's not the most popular guy at the minute.
No.
Is he? And yeah, fairly so. Let's just say.
Yeah. You can look it up if you want to know why, but okay, so let's go through the cast. So we have Tom Hanks as Woody. Now, this was really Tom Hanks had been just before this in one of his biggest movies, which was Forrest Gump, a very highly rated, and it's now become a cult classic. And this was sort of really Hanks starting to get in his peak. I think Tom Hanks is a brilliant actor. He can do drama, but he can also do humour as well. I think he's a fantastic actor. He seems a really nice guy. I think he's brilliant. Do you like Tom Hanks, Jord?
Yeah, I like him. I think he like you said, he comes across as a nice guy, and one of the better actors that's around and still is.
Oh yeah.
Castaway, Captain Phillips, Saving Mr. Banks. There's a lot of good
Sleepless in Seattle, big,
yeah.
yeah.
There's a lot of good Tournament Hooch is a very good film.
Oh yeah, that was the one where they did the animation test. When no, you're eating the car. No, don't eat the car. Oh, I thought that was really funny when I saw that. But yeah. Then we got Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear. Now I'm pretty sure this was Tim Allen's first big film because he was known practically at that point for the television series, the sitcom Home Improvement,
Oh yeah,
which aired on the Disney Channel
I've
and,
seen
and
that.
and ABC in America. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm just looking here. He was obviously in Galaxy Quest, the Santa Claus, which had just come out the year before that. But yeah, and Alan and Hanks, as Woody and Buzz, they just have a brilliant chemistry. They do. They work together so well. What's really interesting is usually in voice acting. I'm sure George knows this, but usually you don't have the voice actors working together in one session, in the same room. But
Well, I
Hanks,
think that's changed a lot more now, hasn't it? I think in order to make, I'm pretty certain that that's the thing now where they do work together, in close proximity a little bit more. But because I feel like in some animated movies you can definitely tell that they're kind of apart.
can you? Oh right.
I think so. I think sometimes you can tell. It's. I think you can tell sometimes that the interaction is like they're not interacting with each other. Like like sometimes reactions don't seem too genuine. So I think you can definitely tell the difference between like modern animated movies to animated movies from before. But I think Toy Story is one of those where it's clear that the cast got on really well and different things like that.
Yeah,
Because I think that it's quite a genuine, obviously a heartwarming movie.
it
You know,
is.
one of the reasons that I agreed to do this one with Will, I sort of said I'd like to do as little of these as possible because it kind of ruins my street cred. But I think Toy Story for me was like the Toy Story franchise in general for me was like probably two of the most influential movies in the first and second one, and and the great themes across the entire franchise, moving
Oh,
into
of
the second
course,
one,
yeah.
the third one, the fourth one, and the first one, which we're going to be talking about tonight. But yeah, I think this was one of those where I couldn't not get involved with this because Toy Story did did a lot for me and means a lot to me still now. Even my little brother is obsessed. He's only 3. He's obsessed with Toy Story, and he has a Buzz and a Woody doll like I used to have when I was younger. And my mum literally made a cake probably about a week ago. I don't know whether I told you. Well, she made a cake about a
No.
week ago for a family relative who was turning 2 years old. She made a Toy Story cake,
Oh, that's
and
great.
it was brilliant. Like one layer was like, how do I explain it? So like the clothes that Woody would wear.
Oh yeah.
So like that was one layer, and then the other layer was like the front of like the Buzz Lightyear outfit, with the buttons and the Space Ranger thing
Oh
and all
wow.
that. So it's really clever.
Wow.
Um,
Oh, you
so
you.
yeah,
If you've got a picture of that on your phone, can you send it me? Because that'd be great to see.
I'll have to see if I can find a picture of it because I haven't got one on me. But
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, we're talking about historical movies and important movies, and there are so many movies. I know your forte, your wheelhouse is kind of animated movies and movies for younger children, but for me, I think the more influential movies have definitely been as I've gotten older and watched like movies from the like things like Psycho
Oh
and
yeah, the Alfred Hitchcock, a brilliant director.
yeah, and then I watched like oh God, what was that one? Things like Inception and The Matrix and
Oh well, The
different
Matrix,
movies like
Keanu
that.
Reeves, yeah.
Yeah, so those kind of movies are what I look to for as movies that for me changed the way I enjoy films. Avengers, as a comic book fan, Avengers was probably the biggest, hugest thing ever, and that was also done by Joss Whedon. And
It was,
but
yeah.
but if we're talking about a film that reminds me of my childhood that I will always sit down and watch if it's on, and it always brings nostalgic memories to me, it's definitely gotta be Toy Story. That was the whole point of that tangent there.
No, 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 no. I know. I get it. You like you. I love this film and will always will. I think because it is a modern classic. It's the people say now that Pinocchio and Bambi are obviously the classics like in Walt's era, but this to me is that second era.
It's a modern classic.
It is exactly. Right, do you want to go through the rest of the cast, or do you want me to continue, or?
You go straight. I think you have a better delivery than me.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough. So we've got comedian Don Rickles, who is hilarious as Mr. Potato Head. Oh, he's just
Dead
brilliant.
now, isn't he?
Wow,
Is he?
Yes, he is. He did pass away, but wow, you didn't have to. It's like, oh, he's dead now. Charming. What did he ever do to you?
No, he is dead though.
Yeah, I know. It just sorry, I was having a joke with you. Sorry, John. And then we've got Jim, star of the Ernest movies. I'm not sure. Have you seen the Ernest movies?
No.
Oh right, okay. The late Jim Varney as Slinky, Slinky Dog. Then we've got the also hilarious Wally Shawn as Rex, who, well, the great thing about Rex is he has so many great lines. He does, and obviously just him trying to be a dinosaur, but not being very ferocious. It just. Yeah, especially in his moment in Toy Story 2. Well, lots of moments, but yeah. And then we get probably the most well-known out of the side cast, John Reisenberger, who has gone on to be in every single Pixar movie, but before that he was known for in the sitcom Cheers, which has become a very highly rated sitcom. Not one that I've seen a lot of, but it was big in America, and it certainly, I think, was big over here in the 90s.
Yeah, hugely popular, wasn't it? Cheers. I don't know too much about it, but yeah, hugely popular at the time, of course.
Yep. Then we've got Ghostbusters star Annie Potts as Bo Peep, who is equally brilliant. I don't think there's any bad member of the cast, actually. I think they're all brilliant. And then we have John Morris. Now, he voices Andy, so he, I think, well, he was a child actor, basically, so I don't think he would have done, I don't think he's really done that much, to be honest, apart from playing Andy, and Pixar actually assisted on trying to get him because, well, they wanted to get him for Toy Story 3, but they didn't know that he would still sound like if Andy was a teen, basically. And they got him on the phone, and Leon Critch said, yep, he does sound like how Andy would as a teen. And they got him all those years later.
So is that I didn't realise that was that same Andy.
It is John Morris, yeah.
That's interesting.
it is great. I think it's really good because Pixar are particularly very good at, you know, to be that dedicated to trying to bring him back as well. I mean, like I said, I think Pixar do a much better job than Disney, to be honest, nowadays. But yeah, and John Morris. The thing with child actors is sometimes it's difficult because obviously some can come across as too what's the word, kiddish, I suppose. But John Morris is
surely is that not what you would want from a child actor though?
Yeah, it's hard though because some are obviously quite annoying. I think obviously as Nikita Hopkins grew up, who went on to he voiced Roo for a lot of the Winnie the Pooh movies, and I thought Jimmy Bennett was actually another one who also did Roo, but was also in Evan Almighty, who's always up. He had a bit of a squeaky voice, so I'm not keen on him at all. But no, John Morris did a good job as Andy, and I couldn't imagine anyone else as Andy. And
keep that in mind. If you're a child actor, one day you might get a scathing review from a curly blonde-haired boy in a wheelchair.
Curly? I don't have curly hair now. No, I had curly hair for years.
That's what I remember what you were like as a kid.
Oh,
you were an annoying kid. You're still annoying now.
Let's move on. So we have Eric Von Detten as Sid. Sid. He destroys toys for fun. Basically, he's like this, just mad, insane. You know, nowadays you'd think Sid was probably on drugs or something. Setting fire to an army man, and Rex is like, he destroys toys just for fun. It's just the way he says that. It's really quite funny. But
it wasn't just any toy, was it? It was a combat car.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, that's some good knowledge for you.
It is, yeah. Thank you, Jello Wheels, for...
seen that film way too many times, I think.
Well, yeah, so have I. That's why I didn't need to watch it on Disney Plus again.
To be fair, though, just to segue, I have not seen Toy Story in maybe about 2 or 3 years.
Oh, right, okay. But you did see...
yeah. I saw Toy Story 4 recently. Toy Story 3, I think I've refused to watch since that first time I ever saw it.
Oh, right.
It's a very... not because I dislike the film, it's just quite emotional. It's quite a heavy film for a kids film, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, if you think Jessie's song, from Toy Story 2, When She Loved Me, that had lots of adults weeping to this day. I mean, so we have Eric Von Detten anyway as Sid, and then we have Laurie Metcalf, who as Mrs. Davis. I think she was in some... she was in Roseanne. Oh, right. I've never seen that. I don't think it was on over here, but it's quite a big... And in fact, Roseanne, the star, I think she got sacked for something.
Was it racist? They brought Roseanne back, and it was a big thing over in America. Roseanne, one of the stars. Sitcoms in the 80s. Roseanne was very popular.
John Goodman was in it as well.
Yeah, I think it might have even done quite well over here, but not, only to
I've never seen it.
Extent. And then they brought Roseanne back, and Roseanne Barr, who was the star of I was trying to think star of actress. She made some racist comments or something, I don't know.
Oh dear.
And then they pulled Roseanne from from TV, and Roseanne never became.
Well, I've never seen it anyway, and I don't think so to me, it would definitely wouldn't be a big loss. But anyway, we move on to Arlie Ermey. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Arlie Ermey or something as Sarge. Now he is actually he's often actually cast as well he was as actually army men. I mean, he was in the film Full Metal Jacket, which is quite a famous war film.
Yeah,
I think
great film.
Stanley Kubrick, another big director.
Was he in Toy Soldiers? This guy.
Arlie Ermey, I'm not sure.
Have you ever seen Toy Soldiers? Do you know what it is?
Is it a war movie?
It's about toy soldiers that come to life. That literally is all it's about.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
It's got Kirsten Dunst in it.
You are correct. Toy Soldiers from 1991. Oh yeah. Oh, and it's got Star Trek's Will Wheaton as well in it. All right.
Oh, I like Will Wheaton.
And the Indiana Jones Denholm Elliott as well. All
Good
right.
film.
Quite a good
mate.
cast then.
Yeah. Was he in that though?
Yes. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just brilliant as Sarge. I think he's one that they cast because obviously he does play army men, so he sort of does what he says on the tin, which is not to be a pun, obviously. Oh no, not the tin. I mean the pot.
The box.
Never mind that.
On the box.
that didn't really work. Because I was thinking, oh no, they don't come in a tin. Oh, never mind.
Some of them do, like not a tin, but like probably a box.
No, it was like this pot thing, and
bucket.
Bucket. Oh dear.
I think we had a bucket of army men.
I did actually. I got some from the Disney store, but they, as with many things, they never got played with.
Interesting.
And then we got Sarah Friedman as Hannah Phillips, who is Sid's sister. And she's good. To be honest, Hannah doesn't really get much to do, obviously, because obviously Sid is the big guy, but one of the best funny bits from Toy Story is when Buzz is, would you like some tea, Mrs. Nesbit? And then when she goes like, and then Buzz like goes crazy, I am Mrs. Nesbit.
What a strange film.
And he does that
what
weird
a strange
laugh.
Film.
Yeah. So yeah, and then we have Penn Gillette. I've never heard of him, but he's the announcer on the "Come in, Buzz Lightyear." That great announcement. The world's coolest toy, not a flying toy. Sorry, but that's him. Basically, I think he's an American announcer. So again, does what he says on the tin, basically. That completes your major cast, but then Joe Ranft is credited in additional voices. He voices Lenny the Binoculars.
Is he Wheezy in the second one?
He is Wheezy in the second one, yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Much missed Joe Ranft. And then I think John Lasseter... Oh, yes, actually, because it's quite funny, because John Lasseter and a lot of the Pixar artists actually shout the Buzz Lightyear in the commercial. I could just imagine them just in the booth going like Buzz Lightyear and just jumping up and down or something. It's
wonder whether he did anything to the staff.
Steady on now.
Slightly controversial.
Steady on now. This is family friendly. Don't you be poisoning this.
So yeah, that's it for the cast then.
It is, yeah. It's a great cast. Got some really good ones. Obviously, the big ones are Hanks and Ellen, but never forget the side cast is good as well. Particularly Reisenberger and Wally Shawn and Don Rickles for me.
His name is Ratzenberger, isn't it?
Do you know? I don't know. Yeah, actually, Ratzenberger sounds better. It probably is. And what I was saying to George just before we started this. Now, obviously, if you're a fan of Disney, you will know in the 90s that musical films were a really popular thing. We explained it sort of. It's all thanks to Howard Ashman, because when he was brought on to The Little Mermaid, it started this whole, because prior to that, apart from American Tail, which is not Disney, but, you know, films...
Is it Universal American Tail?
Yes, yeah, I've never seen it, but it's where somewhere out there
yeah,
comes
PVL. Is it Feevel or something? That's
from.
the main
Flevel
thing.
Mousekowitz, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a bit in Universal Studios in Orlando. It's called like FVL or whatever's Playworld.
Yeah,
Playground.
however you pronounce him. But the point is, you know, prior to that, you know, I don't think people would have put animation and like a Broadway musical style together. I mean, Walt Disney was a fan of jazz, and at the time of the 30s and 40s, well, obviously jazz was the big thing. You know, he's a big fan of Satchmo, the great Louis Armstrong, who is just brilliant, and they got Bing Crosby to do the Ichabod and Mr. Toad, and they got Peggy Lee.
Ichabod.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Yeah, Ichabod, or however you pronounce it. And Peggy Lee.
Definitely Ichabod.
Is it Ichabod? Thank you.
Yeah.
And then obviously Peggy Lee, who to do Lady and the Tramp. So they were big jazz artists at the time, and obviously Walt was a fan of jazz, and the animators obviously at that time they were in the Firehouse Five, I think, some ragtime jazz band. I would have absolutely hated them because I hate ragtime, but jazz was a big
like
thing.
very much.
What's that?
I said I don't think you like very much.
I really hate ragtime. I like big band jazz, like swing, but I really dislike ragtime.
See, I don't know. I always thought that the Walt Disney era was more about the sort of the classical music. I mean, you look at like, you know, Sleeping Beauty is literally named after a
Tchaikovsky,
It's named after Tchaikovsky's
ballet
arrangement.
Yeah. That is true. I get that, and obviously Fantasia was classical, but a lot of the films were mainly, I think, jazz, the music, and even after Walt's death, you know, the Aristocats and the Jungle Book, you know, Thomas O'Malley Cat, that was a big swinging jazz number for Phil Harris, and I Want to Be Like You.
I definitely agree about the Jungle Book being a sort of a jazz movie thing, but I wouldn't say like Snow White.
Well, no, Snow White was sort of, well, Adriana Kozlotti, she was very operatic. Well, I suppose it depends, but the point is, Broadway musicals and animation, it wasn't really a thing back then. And then obviously through the late 80s and 90s, where you had Beauty and the Beast, you had oh my, I can't believe my brain is failing me.
Fox and the Hound, Oliver Company.
Well, Oliver and
Hunchback
Company's
of Notre Dame. That had a lot of music in it.
Oh, Hunchback of Notre Dame. Yeah, that's it.
Little Mermaid.
Yep.
What else was there? The Rescuers.
Yeah,
Good
but
film.
that wasn't in the same Broadway style.
Aladdin.
Yes. Yeah, Yes, that was the one. I can't believe I forgot about that one. My brain just failed on me. Oh, I
I
can't
think
believe that.
Hunchback of Notre Dame had a lot of Broadway stuff, but I think it gets
It did.
overlooked.
It was Alan Menken who did
I
the
think it
music to
gets
that.
overlooked because it was quite a dark film.
It just bores me to death, to be honest. It really does.
Esmeralda. That's what the witch is called, isn't it? Or something. Doesn't he sing about it?
Although someday that's quite a good one when we had Eternal performing it for the UK and then All for One, All for One in the US. Yeah, and Disney obviously wanted to continue this trend because obviously it was popular and it was the big thing and obviously it would get lots of money. But Pixar would, nope, we don't want our characters bursting into song. Disney said, no, you've got to have music, you've got to have songs. And then Pixar was like, no, we don't want them to burst into song. Until they came with a compromise. And that's to basically have songs, but told from the toys' points of view without them bursting into song, which I think is a much better, because the idea of Tom Hanks and Tim Allen bursting into song, I don't know, it frightens me. It really does.
They might be classically trained. You don't know. They might be.
No,
Well,
I
don't know.
I don't.
I know a lot of actors now are like singing trained and what have you, aren't they? But
That is true, and obviously, many years later, Richie Gere, he wasn't a singer, but I don't think he did a bad job in Chicago. And so they came to a compromise, and John Lasseter thought of one of his musical heroes, and he thought of Randy Newman. Now, at that point, it would have raised a lot of eyebrows, because Newman's non-Disney stuff, well, it's very political. I don't know. Have you heard any of his non-Disney stuff, Randy Newman?
I don't tend to do the same things you do and listen to things like that, so no.
Okay. Well, just to give you an idea, he sung a song about short people got no reason to live. That was a lyric of one of his songs, but
Wow.
it wasn't offending short people, but it got hated. In fact, people were throwing eggs on the Randy Newman's picture when that came out in the US.
Well, I mean, understandable, I guess.
Yeah, but Randy Newman in his songs, he tends to act as sort of a narrator. He's a composer that tells a story with music, which is a really interesting, because I can't think of any other composer who does that, I don't think, or singer that tells us. Well, I suppose people like your folk singers who did the the protest songs, like your Bob Dylans, your Joni Mitchells, James Taylor, Carly Simon, Carole King, perhaps. But
What about John Williams? I know he's not like his lyrics don't tell the story, but because there's no lyrics, but I feel like his music tells the story.
It does, but it helps that Randy Newman actually sings, I think, and that's how it executes across, because it's very hard for the instrumental score, to me, to tell a story than for it to be sung.
I feel like you need to get a little bit more cultured then.
Well, no, I think it's obviously interesting, because obviously, a score is good, and sometimes, obviously, if it's fast, it goes with a fast scene, and then if it's slow, it goes for a slow scene. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Yeah, and obviously Randy Newman he'd already had some experience scoring films. He did the score to Parenthood, starring Steve Martin and I think it's Daryl Hannah, I think it is, or Goldie Hawn, someone like that. And he did the music to another Steve Martin film called The I Three Amigos with him and John Candy. and he also did he did a film called Ragtime, which was the last starring role for James Cagney and the first starring role for Samuel L. Jackson, which is quite crazy to think that Samuel L. Jackson and James Cagney were in a film together. That's quite funny, that. And actually, he wrote a really beautiful song for Ragtime called One More Hour, and it has a lyric, one more sad song played for me, and the string arrangement and the piano, and Jennifer Warnes, who sung I've Had the Time of My Life and Up Where We Belong. Her voice is really wonderful, and the song, and you know, I think a lot of people turn Randy Newman away and take the mick out of him because of his blues voice. And I get that he hasn't got the best voice, but he can tell a story. I think he's really, really good at that. Particularly, you know, his score as well, you know. He has a certain sound that the way he arranges the strings. String arrangements, that's it. And it's really, really beautiful. And his score for this movie, for Toy Story, you know, my favourite bit of the score, the instrumental score, is the scene when Woody and Buzz, they're obviously flying before they get to Andy's van. And actually the score at the right beginning of the film, and the score is just generally really, really brilliant. It's really, really good. I'm a big fan of Randy Newman, and obviously his voice and music, well, it's also been the music of my childhood, and maybe to a degree yours, George, as well.
Sure. I'd say that.
Yeah. So Randy Newman wrote and performed 3 songs for the movie. The first one, you all know it, You've Got a Friend in Me, which has become a classic in the Disney songbook. And I was thinking about this today. What's the beauty of this song? Well, I was thinking it's about obviously a boy loving his toy, but it's also about their friendship as well. But I also think it's also about the relationship between Woody and Buzz. So I think what the beauty of that is, it tells many stories from that one title, from the lyrics, which I think that's pretty good. I don't know.
Beautifully put.
I'm
you impressed?
Oh, right, thank you. Would you agree with that?
I think that you are correct. I think that, you know, a song such as that, you know, especially knowing the kind of the themes of the movie, it's definitely all about
friendship,
you know,
isn't
like
it?
friendship,
Accepting,
and acceptance, and
yeah,
and you know, understanding and love and definitely friendship. It's and I agree that you can definitely take that song a multitude of different ways.
Yeah.
Given the themes of the film, it's like, you know, you could say that Andy is saying it to
Woody, it's Woody saying
Woody
it to Buzz, yeah.
Woody is saying it to Andy, Woody is saying it to Buzz.
Buzz
you know,
is saying it to Woody, yeah.
Yeah, it could be taken all different ways, and I think that's what's interesting. You know, it's definitely, you know, it's a film. I don't know. It's very much before its. Sometimes I'd say it's before its time, but I feel like a lot of the Renaissance, the second Disney Renaissance animated films also did that kind of thing. You know, Aladdin was a love story that was about social class and things like that, and the Little Mermaid was about
wanted to be free, basically.
Yeah, it was about freedom and also loving somebody,
yes.
no matter sort of who they are, and Beauty and the Beast the same, and And following on from Toy Story, then you're talking about Mulan, and that was a story about what is the role of a woman within this society, and
Gosh, yeah.
there have
And
been some really great statements made by films. I mean, you look at Toy Story 1. It's like it's all about you think you're the favorite, you're the best, and everybody's all equal. Is kind of like
exactly, yeah, because Andy loved both of them, and Woody found that in the end.
I feel like that's like the first first act of the movie. That's the main theme, is like dealing with that kind of jealousy and understanding that you were the top and now you're not. And then the second act is kind of like Woody dealing with its consequences for his actions of having to get Buzz out of SIDS. And then the third act is really understanding that they might be different and they might see things differently, but they can still be friends and work together and
exactly
things like that. And then I feel like Toy Story 3 is all about growing up and understanding.
Toy Story 2 is to a degree as well.
Well, it's difficult because I feel like Toy Story 2 is the one I watched most as a kid, but the one I've seen the least of since then. So I couldn't really sit here and say these are the themes of Toy Story 2. But Toy Story 3 is definitely all about growing up and moving on, and understanding that you might love somebody and whatever, and you might have all these memories, but sometimes life does just move on.
Yes.
And again, similarly, Toy Story 4 is more about how long are you gonna. It's about exploring something new and getting out of your comfort zone and sort of, I feel like it's definitely, in terms of Woody, he's very rigid in these movies. He's definitely like, we are toys, that's it. Whereas in Toy Story 4, I think his character development comes full circle. It does develop, I feel like it's a kind of thing for him as like. And similarly for Buzz, he spends the entire movie like, oh, I'm not a toy, I'm real. And Toy Story 4, there's that great
goes
scene
backwards, that does.
There's that great scene between Buzz and Woody where they have this great moment where I feel like, Woody realizes that's what he needs to do and go and be with Bo Peep and go and live his life as something other than a toy.
And to help other toys as well.
Obviously, he's still a toy, but it's about being his own person.
Yes.
Still being who he is, and then I think like I said, there is something quite beautiful about the Toy Story movies.
Yeah. So like I said, we got 3 songs. So You've Got a Friend in Me opens the picture. Just it basically explains, just we see a montage of Andy, spinning Woody on that chair, and just Woody going through the banister on the stairs, which always makes me feel funny because I've been like, and then just spinning on the chair. Oh, that makes me feel dizzy, but it's great. And then it's just a brilliant scene. In fact, whenever I hear You've Got a Friend in Me, and the Randy Newman original version, that's what I think of. That whole opening scene.
I'll tell you a story. I don't know if you remember.
But, go on.
Obviously, I imagine viewers of the show will know that all 4 of us that you see on this channel, but mainly me and Sam have been together for our entire lives, and I think with Will, it was as we got older we sort of took on the kind of sort of take you under our wing kind of thing, and but in terms of closeness, I think it's only been over the past year or so, 2 years,
few months
possibly.
I think lockdown really brought us closer, I think.
But I think there was this weird kind of we had this relationship maybe when I was with the person I was with, you'd ring me up every now and again then. So I feel like it even predates that. But the story being that when you got to a certain age in our school, you had to do a graduation, and we all did ours. We moved up to the I think we were like year sevens, and I don't know whether Will were you 2 or 3 years below us. I'm not sure. I think it was 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Will, you were 2 years below us. So Will was 2 years below us. So we're in year 8 at this point, and we go to watch the graduation, and we're talking about the impact of songs on a person, and the song that Will chooses is "You've Got a Friend in Me."
I did, yeah, I did choose
Do you
"You've Got a Friend in
remember
Me," and
I remember that clear as day.
I do, yeah, yeah. I had it on a CD, and I also chose for my other graduation, because obviously Toy Story 3 had not long come out then. "We Belong Together" from Toy Story 3, which as a song actually, I really think that song is great, because that sort of follows on from "You've Got a Friend in Me." That's a sequel to that song, which is why I think that was perfect for that film. And it's just a great bluesy song. Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, like I said, Randy Newman, his voice and his songs, they are part of my childhood, The Time of Your Life from Bug's Life is become a new favourite as well. That's a brilliant one.
I don't know that one, but I don't remember Bug's Life too well, because I remember just never being keen on that film at all.
Well, the song is very.
Why.
Oh, sorry.
Said I don't know why I wasn't keen on that film.
Oh, it's a great film. Kevin Spacey is brilliant as. I can't believe I've forgotten his name. The grasshopper. I think he's called Hopper. Yeah, he's brilliant as him.
Yeah. He's a dodgy character. Talking about John Lasseter, I'm sure he's been involved in some.
Oh God, yeah.
Is it him? Is it Kevin Spacey that was
yes.
accused of doing things with little boys?
Oh my God. Yes, it was.
Was it boys or was it girls? I don't know either way.
Oh dear, yeah. Less said about that, the better. But
definitely, what a scumbag.
Right. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, it's very typical Randy Newman. The song. Yeah, sorry, George. you just absolutely made me laugh then.
As I often do, mate.
I just didn't expect you to come out with that. Sorry.
You know me, I don't care.
Apologies, viewers. Yeah, it's very typical Randy Newman at the time of your life. It's very catchy. A lot of his songs, that's why he gets taken out the mick of, because a lot of his songs are just so similar. But it's a catchy one. But yeah, I think without Randy Newman's music, I can't imagine Toy Story without all the films without Randy Newman with his voice, or without his voice, or either his score, or completely, or both of them. Because to me, they're one of the best bits. You've Got a Friend in Me is brilliant, but also, Strange Things is another brilliant song. That's the film.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that's the song which basically, it's when Buzz is newly got, and you see a montage of Andy sort of playing with Buzz, and Woody sort of fearing. It's showing his fears, I suppose, a bit.
Yeah, I think it highlights his loneliness, isn't it? That's what it's all about. It's about he feels quite lonely and isolated, and like all of his friends have abandoned him, when really, it's not really the case.
No, it isn't the case at all. It's a really catchy song, and probably the best one actually is a very underrated one. I Will Go Sailing No More. That's the one before Buzz, jumps out the window. Those big strings and the big dramatic, arrangement. It's really that one is actually, and it's quite an emotional song actually, which Randy Newman and Pixar do really well.
That's the one where is that the one where he falls out of the window?
It is, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that is quite. I feel like that's it's put together with the moment where Buzz realizes that he is a toy or whatever it is that the situation is, and then I feel like it's a good song for the emotional importance of the movie.
Yeah. And obviously in Toy Story 2, by the way, if you don't like Randy Newman's voice, if you absolutely can't stand him, then you'll be relieved, because in Toy Story 2, he passes the microphone to other artists. When She Loved Me, from Toy Story 2.
What would you call it? Is he a crooner? Is that what they're called?
Randy Newman? No, he's... well, I don't know, he's been compared to Ray Charles. And he said himself that he has a bluesy type of voice, so he's not like your Sinatra or Crosby, but he's not like a pop artist. I'm not quite sure, to be honest, and I think that I feel that he does get. I feel he doesn't get the respect that he deserves, Randy Newman, really, because of his voice. I think.
Couldn't say too much on that, to be fair.
But his lyrics and music is just wonderful. And When She Loved Me from Toy Story 2, if you see that scene, about Jessie, Emily playing with her, and then getting abandoned, but it's also a love song. It's a really beautiful song, and Sarah McLachlan's voice, it's just really beautiful. If Randy Newman was singing it with his voice, you'd be laughing probably. But because Sarah McLachlan's got this lovely, breathy female voice, it's really, really lovely.
What the hell does breathy mean? What do you mean? You mean breathy?
Breathy. That's it, yeah.
But I still don't know. Is that a good thing?
It is, because it's really, it's lovely for the song. It's nice and soft. It's not powerful. I think you should. Do you know the song I mean? When She Loved Me, yeah.
Of course I do. I think it's the best song of all the songs.
Really? Ahead of You've Got a Friend in Me?
That's a difficult call to make, isn't it? But I don't know. I like that one. I think it's hugely emotional.
Yeah.
And really, it's about abandonment and.
But it's also a love song as well.
Yeah, it's a true love song. It reflects how Jessie obviously felt about whatever her name was.
Emily.
So yeah, and really sad. Yeah, I would say. Yeah, do you know what? I would say that is the best song out of all of them.
Actually, yeah, I think because to me it's brilliant, and that whole scene, and it doesn't personally drive me to tears because it takes a lot, but it really gives me goosebumps, good goosebumps, because.
No, I can't say it's ever driven me to tears either, but I know people. I've watched that film with people who have cried.
I mean, the piano, the strings, the orchestra, and her vocals, just brilliant. And, there's a Randy Newman demo with slightly different lyrics on YouTube. But do you know what? I usually prefer him obviously singing, but that one they chose a very good decision, because I think I would have been seriously in hysterics if it came out of his mouth, I think. Oh. Yeah, that'd be really weird. And then in Toy Story 2, you have Woody's Roundup, which is a song, if if it was an old cowboy show in the 50s and 60s with puppets, and Woody's Roundup, that's very catchy. See, I quite like that one, I do.
You like Woody's Roundup?
Woody's Roundup, yeah, I think it's brilliant.
I'm not sure about that.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, I suppose it doesn't have the strength of When She Loved Me, obviously, because
I don't feel like there's not much beauty to that song, is there?
No,
it's
that is
not
true.
Emotional. It's kind of silly.
Well, yeah, but that's what you need, because there's a great quote from Walt Disney: "For every laugh there should be a tear, and for every tear there should be a smile," or something. Because you need that after seeing When She Loved Me. You need to sort of laugh at Woody's Roundup, and then you have Wheezy getting a new squeaker to croon his way through "You've Got a Friend in Me," voiced by the great legend Robert Goulet, who I think you all know, George, for, two things, because he was the guy on The Simpsons that said "Jingle bells, Batman smells" on that. That was him. The deep voice, that was Robert Goulet.
Dude with the saxophone.
Yeah, I've not seen the actual Simpsons episode, but it could be. But he definitely had a deep voice. You wouldn't mistake it. And
yeah.
Also in one of the Recess movies as well, when I think it's Mikey, he sings.
I like Recess.
Yeah, and he has this deep voice. So yeah, it's the same guy, Robert Goulet, because I don't think Joe Ranft could sing particularly, and so that's always fun. Wheezy and Mr. Mike, crooning along to that brilliant swinging version. In fact, Randy Newman actually sort of complained because he said to Robert, "No, it's You Got a Friend in Me, boy," but because it's a Vegas style, Robert Goulet says "babe." So yeah, I thought that was quite funny.
I've got an interesting question, because I noticed we've been going for about an hour now.
Oh yeah, go on.
So I've got an interesting question, and that is, and I know what you're going to say, but the question still stands: does Toy Story hold up 25 years later? Because that has been 25 years.
Gosh, yeah. 25 years. I think it does, because I think the computer animation for its time, it doesn't look bad at all. When you think of the real details, like Buzz's reflection, on his not suit. Oh dear. Oh man, what's the word?
It is a suit, isn't it? It's a space.
Oh,
suit.
It is. Yeah, space suit. Yeah. You the reflection on that, and the material on Woody's jacket, and it looks like denim is his trousers, and particularly the famous, that famous Pixar ball, with the star on. That looks like plastic, and which I know is the point, obviously, but to me the animation, it's still pretty stands. I mean, obviously the trees, they're not that realistic, but I think the animation stands up. But also, it's a really strong story. The cast.
That's what I meant. I meant does the story hold up? Because obviously I feel like even if you watch Toy Story 2 compared to Toy Story 1, you can see the difference. And then, trying to compare Toy Story 3 and 4 to the original one, animation-wise and, sound-wise and everything like that, there's no comparison, because obviously it's 25 years of perfecting.
Yeah, well, obviously you have to remember Toy Story was the first ever computer animated feature-length completely, because prior to that, obviously you had Star Wars and Tron, but they had live action actors as well as computer animation. But
You
this
ever
was.
seen Tron?
I've seen Tron Legacy, and I think I've seen bits and pieces of the original Tron. But yeah, I have to give that a watch actually, because that was
Can't
quite.
say I've ever seen Tron. Is it on Disney Plus?
I think it is, yeah. And Jeff Bridges, the star of that, actually, he's not very well. So
He's in Tron Legacy, isn't he, Jeff?
he is, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think it does stand well because the story. It's a story about toys, obviously, but it's about friendship. It's about acceptance. It's about loyalty. It's about I think those are the main things. I think it does stand out, and I could watch Toy Story 100 times because it is just so brilliant. It is. I really could.
I think it's interesting because obviously, the premise of the movies is hugely basic, and
It's simple, isn't it? But obviously
the thing is like coming into it now, like I'm 22 in the summer, and me and Will have only just turned like the ages that we are now. But I'm 21, and Will is of an age that Will is, and I'm pretty sure even Will will know how old he is.
I do, but I'm not gonna say, obviously.
So we're full grown adults now, and I think looking at it as an adult, and it's about friendship, and I just think, especially like the older Toy Story films, like the third one and the fourth one, it's all about moving on and growing away from people. Like it does happen, and it's something that I feel like anybody could sit there and say, well, this means this is what the themes of that film are, and it's going to be true. But looking at it as an adult and having gone through things like that, where life does grow up and things do move on, and then you are left with whatever you're left with, I think that means that it's a film that's always going to stand the test of time.
I
For me.
agree with you.
And I think it's incredibly apt that the four of us on this channel have been, well, particularly, like I said, particularly myself and Sam, have been friends for 18 years now. Me and Sam have been friends for nearly 2 decades, which is unbelievable.
That's crazy, but it's
So,
brilliant, obviously.
That's something that the whole thing about Friends and is something that everybody can resonate with.
Yeah,
And I think that's how you know when you've got a good movie.
absolutely. People can relate to it. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and I think because obviously the first Toy Story there was a lot of pressure, so they couldn't really. They had to do it quite basic. Where the Toy Story 2, the characters were established, things were a lot more relaxed, so they could sort of go into the big wide world, if you get what I mean.
I do. I remember Toy Story 2, but that was the one that I watched all the time when I was a kid. But
See, I always preferred the first Toy Story because Woody and
Well-
Buzz's humour just brilliant.
well, the thing is I remember, or it wasn't long after Toy Story 2 had come out.
90.
Yeah.
Well, it would have been 2000 over here then.
Was it 2000?
1999 in
So-
the States, 2000 here, I think.
So, my oldest memories are like of me as a 2, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, and Toy Story mania in this country was still
Gosh,
huge.
yeah, it was a big thing, yeah.
You could go anywhere and get I think I had everything. I think I had a Rex, I had a Slinky, I remember
Mr.
having a
Potato
Slinky.
Head?
I had a Mr. and I think I had a Mrs. Potato Head as well. I'm not too sure.
Oh, yeah.
I had a Rex, I had a Jessie, I had a Buzz, I had a Woody.
Bullseye?
I had a Bullseye. I did not have. The only one I didn't have was what's the villain called?
Stinky Pete?
Stinky Pete. That's the one.
The Prospector, yep. Say hello to the Prospector.
I think that I'm pretty sure that's the only one I didn't have, and I didn't have like don't think I had a ham either, but
Oh,
I had everything else.
well, yeah, and obviously you didn't have the Mr. Mike and the Wheezy and the Lenny and the.
No, I think I had a Wheezy,
Oh, right. Yeah,
but
because
I didn't have a Bo Peep or a Barbie or anything like that. But I'm sure I had a Jessie. I don't know.
there are some people that really go for literally the full, even the side toys, like they're called troikas, you know, those eggs that stack up.
I can imagine you doing that.
Me having troikas?
I can imagine you having every single bit of every Disney film memorabilia and toys there is. I can imagine that being you. If there's
Actually,
anybody,
yeah, that would be me, but they wouldn't get played with. I mean, I already have enough as it is that don't get played with.
well, you know, you're a fully grown man now. You don't need to be playing with toys.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Oh dear.
just putting that out there that you don't need to be playing with toys.
Yeah. So I'm just I'm thinking of something else, but no. I'm just seeing here Billy Crystal was actually approached to play Buzz Lightyear, but he
ended up doing
Monsters Inc. Yeah.
Was he Mike Wazowski?
Mike Wazowski, yeah, and he was brilliant in that. And Jim Carrey was considered for Buzz, but the idea of that terrifies me.
I think he's a bit too adult for you know. You look at the Jim Carrey movies, the likes of like
The Mask, the
Ace
Grinch.
Ventura. Although I can imagine him being a kind of a Woody, because I feel like Woody always had that. He was quite uptight, but he did have that energy. He could kind of like shout and do whatever and flail his arms about. I can imagine a Jim Carrey as Woody, but definitely not as Buzz.
Yeah, and Bill Murray and Chevy Chase, they were also considered as well. I mean,
Bill Murray, I could imagine.
Yeah,
Chevy
Bill Murray
Chase,
would
I
have
don't
been
know too
brilliant.
much about.
Chevy Chase, where's he these days? I think he's gone on that planet of celebs that just have gone into space that you never see again.
Yeah, but as you get older, which you know, I've heard of Chevy Chase before. I think he's like a sort of retro.
Jesus, he's 77.
Kind of like a Steve Martin Short type guy now, isn't he? Like pushing 70 and.
Yeah, mind you, Steve Martin, he's still going. He's brilliant.
Have you ever seen Cheaper by the Dozen? That's a Disney movie now, isn't it?
I did, but to me, Father the Bride with Martin Short, who played Jack Frost and he was also in Jungle to Jungle with Tim Allen as Frog. That's a brilliant film.
Father the Bride.
That's
got the guy from Scott Pilgrim. Oh God, Macaulay Culkin's brother. Kieran Culkin.
Yeah, he's in it. Yeah, and I think it's Daryl Hannah that plays his wife. It's a really good film, actually. Yeah.
They did a Father the Bride Netflix live reunion, didn't they?
Did they? I didn't know that.
25 years since that movie came out, and it was like Steve Martin and Kieran Culkin, and I think at the end of the movie she has kids, doesn't she? So
she does, yeah. And they made a Father Bride 2 as well. So
like Florence Pugh is one of the kids, and if you don't know who Florence Pugh is,
I do know who she is. I've not seen many films, but she's quite a young actress, isn't she?
24, and she's English, I think.
Oh right. Hey, that's good.
She's gonna be in the next Marvel movie.
Oh right.
As the new Black Widow.
I see. That's interesting.
So I think with that, we're sort of getting towards the end of the conversation. Final thoughts on Toy Story?
Well, just for me, it's a classic, isn't it? I think it's always going to be up there.
Favorite movie of all time?
Oh gosh, favourite animated movie. To be honest, I've always been, like I said, a fan of Pixar, and I think Pixar are particularly good at sequels that Disney can't seem to get it right, but Pixar actually. In fact, maybe they should just take most of the Pixar gang and move them over to the Disney building.
I don't know. I really like Mulan too, but that's just me.
Oh well, yeah, I wouldn't dream of watching Mulan.
You don't like Mulan?
No.
Why?
Well, because to be honest, the live action film actually would be better because there'd be no annoying Eddie Murphy.
Apparently, the first live action movie is kind of okay, but there's a lot of controversy considering around the lead actress, because she said she supports the Hong Kong police who are always in trouble for
yeah.
overly brutalizing people, which is true because I had a friend that lived in Hong Kong for a time, and he spoke a lot about the brutality of.
That's interesting. And I'm just looking. Paul Newman, he was offered the job for Toy Story, who would go on to voice Doc Hudson in Cars.
And he was, wasn't he in Big Bang Theory?
If he was, I think it would have been pretty much because he was.
That's Bob Newman, isn't it?
Oh, I don't watch Big Bang Theory because I'm not a fan of many American sitcoms.
I think it's worth watching Big Bang Theory. Like
I've
the
watched
first
it.
Series.
I've watched it. I've seen James Earl Jones when he appeared in it when he was in the shower.
James Earl Jones, Will Wheaton. I think they have. I think Leonard Nimoy's on it.
Yeah.
Stephen Hawking.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, nah. I don't think it'd be my type of thing because I just
Probably
not like American sitcoms. Although Home Improvement, I might actually see if I can dig that out because obviously I do like Tim Allen and he's just great. So I might actually try that if that's on Disney Plus.
I'm sure that's on Disney Plus.
Oh right, yeah. I might actually try that. So your thoughts on Toy Story overall?
It's definitely very heartwarming, like I said, as an adult to see, my younger brother, love Toy Story as he did, and then my youngest brother now still loving Toy Story, and then relatives all around me still loving it as much as I did when I was a kid. I think for me, it's definitely my favorite childhood movie, possibly. I could say that there are a lot of films I enjoyed and would still sit and watch from time to time. I think a lot about the one that's just gone out of my head. Oh my god, that's going to do my head in. That's going to annoy me, but
who's in it?
The name of it's just gone. I was thinking about like the Power Rangers movie.
Oh, I've never really seen those.
And then I was thinking of another one, but I can't remember what it is. There's a couple there's probably one or two, but I would say in terms of the sheer enjoyment and nostalgia, I'd say Toy Story's up there.
Absolutely.
And then I think the weakest of the four is thematically, the weakest of the four is the fourth one.
I think so, because I think it's a reboot, isn't it? Because it's Woody and Forky, like Woody and Buzz in the first film, what I thought.
I don't think it's a reboot, because it's still got all the same characters and all the same cast. I like Tony Hale. I like Arrested Development, so I can't really say a lot about that. Arrested Development is kind of like what he's famous for.
See, to me, Toy Story 4, I must admit, I did ask for Toy Story 4 as soon as I came out of seeing Toy Story 3 in the cinema, and I regretted it, I really did.
I remember going to see Toy Story 3 in in America. I went to see it in Florida,
Wow.
and my entire family, when we left, myself included, were in tears at the end of the movie, and which is not easy to. I think I was like, what was it, 2009? So I was 10, so that's not too bad, but it's still kind of embarrassing that I had that reaction to the film.
Well, I think that's kind of a good thing, really.
But then my mum and dad were in their 30s and they were crying on it, so maybe that's not too bad. But yeah, I think Toy Story is one of those franchises that will always be popular, and
Yeah,
you know, very much fortunate to be surrounded by
absolutely.
that growing up.
If you ever have a son, you know, maybe he'll like Toy Story, maybe.
I think that that's the sort of thing I would teach my kids on, and you know, because the lessons you can learn from those kinds of films.
I think they're really good lessons, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, especially like Toy Story, and I'm trying to think of other ones like I think Cars has a great story. When you think
Yeah.
when you think about the themes of the movie, you know, he's this big hotshot racer, and then he ends up in this town out in the back end of nowhere, and
Yeah.
he has to learn about humility and what it is to be where he is. And
Gosh, yeah, that's another film. The first Cars, that's a great film, that is.
I really hated the second one.
Yeah, Cars 2, I think the spy thing, I don't know, I did like it because I did go to the cinemas to see it, but then I
thought the third one was brilliant.
the third one was great, although I wanted it to be a definitive end. I wanted McQueen to retire or maybe go on the scrap heap.
It was a definitive end to that story, but it was also quite open-ended because they could have carried it on with whatever the
Cruise,
name
I think her name is.
Cruise. Was that it? I've only ever seen it once, but I remember watching it and thinking that was a really great film.
Spanish female, I think.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that movie. I'm not gonna lie.
Car 3 was good, and I think Cars 2, I mean, Michael Caine, well, he just lights up everything that he's in. He's a
Blow the
legend.
bloody doors off, mate.
Yeah, that ended up sounding quite Aussie more than Michael Caine.
I can do a pretty good Australian accent, so.
Oh, right.
He's a bit of a Cockney sparrow, isn't he, Michael Caine?
Michael Caine, he's a legend, he is.
Yeah,
Absolute
I like
legend.
Michael Caine.
Yeah. How can you not? I mean, Miss Congeniality is brilliant, and the Muppets Christmas Carol is fantastic in that, and obviously that line which you said, that's from one of his most famous, the Italian Job, which is gone on to be a classic.
Yeah, I like that. I like. He was in the original one and the remake, wasn't he?
I don't know, because I've not really seen the Italian Job.
It's a good film.
I like the song On Days Like These from it. That's a wonderful song. Matt Monro. Wonderful. Anyway, I think we better leave it there. Thank you for your company, JLI Wheels. I really enjoyed that.
No worries. That was a very definitely interesting, because we talked about some things in a way that, you know, we talked about things that are definitely nostalgic to us, and you know, the way we talked about them really kind of changed the way I look at that film.
I think so, yeah. Especially the songs for me as well.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, but thank you for your company, JLI Wheels, and
Anytime.
I think we'll be back tomorrow for our roundup of the whatever match week it is of the Premier League. I've lost track.
No, it's not match week 3, is it? Is it match week 4?
Match week 4 or 5, one of the ones.
Didn't we not didn't we not do a roundup one week? Oh no, you did it on your own.
I did, but then I realised it was a bit of a waste because it was the international break, and it would have been another week till the do the roundup anyway. But
It was definitely, yeah. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm hoping, personally, I'm hoping for a
full house. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping for me, Sam, yourself, and Ben.
Let's put our fingers crossed, because Ben Carney, we've got our fingers crossed here. We'd love to have him back, and I know he would love to do it, but it's just not quite worked out so far. But we are hoping that he's definitely going to be there.
Have we had any comments before we finish?
I did check, and no, we've not.
Fair enough.
So, if you want to, guys, like, share, comment, and subscribe to the TubeMix YouTube channel. And I think the review show, I'd quite like to do probably the boys, the Sherman Brothers story, I think, next.
You've got one more to do, haven't you? You've got one more to do, then
I've got 3
until the new year.
Hang on, 7, 8, 9, 10, I said. So, yeah, 3 more.
Do you know which 3 you're going to do you think?
The Boys, the Sherman Brothers story, the Jungle Book, I think, of course, the classic 1967
Fantastic
original.
movie.
And Mary Poppins, I think, yeah.
That's another
classic.
I'm gonna have to watch the Jungle Book again. You just made me think. I haven't watched the Jungle Book in years.
Yeah, not none of that remake. No Idris Elba. No Ben Kingsley. Nah, the original one with Phil Harrison, Sebastian Cabot, and Bruce Riverman and Louis Prima and Sterling Holloway. Great cast, and great music and a great film. So yeah, the review show will be back sometime. And I'll be back, as I said, with Jelly Wheels and hopefully Sam and Ben tomorrow. So from all of us here, thanks for watching and goodbye.